If you're planning on playing a shaman on the Teak random loot server, this video is for you. The reason why is Kunark is unlocked upon launch. So there are a lot of spells in here that you may want to get as a shaman because as you know, the shamans are just totally awesome. But let's get to it, guys. Okay, you can see I'm on Alakazam and I have set it to shaman level 60. The most important spell you can get early on is Cannibalize 2. But the problem is Cannibalize 2 is a quested spell and it is not easy to get. Let me go ahead and show you the quest that's associated with this. Basically what this spell does, decreases your hit points and it increases your mana every 21, 21 for every 67 hit points you lose. You can also cast a regen on yourself, hit point heal over time while you do this. And that's how they do this. And you can gain back mana. So it's a very good spell. It's super, super good. And it's one of the reasons why people want shamans in the group. That's reason number one. So let's talk about Cannibalize number two. Cannibalize 2 here, you've got to go through a quest right here. And this is how you get this. It's not sold by any of these until much later. Later on, you can go ahead and get this thing in Plane of Knowledge if that is open. But by then, well, who cares? So anyway, go ahead and take a look at this spell here, Cannibalize 2. I'm showing you the evil version because most people play evil shamans. They get the troll shaman because it has a few ticks of regen. But you got to do a couple things. You got to get this thing from Army Behemoths in the City of Mist at level 38. Wow. Crushed diamonds. You got to get all this stuff here. These Froglock Young Shamans and Trakanon's Teeth, bone chips. You got to get these things. So you get from Skeletal Warlords. Wow. Okay, so it's very unlikely you're going to get this stuff at level 40. I highly doubt it. In fact, I think you're going to be closer to level 50 by the time you get all this stuff to get this. So that's the sad thing about it. So let me close this here and let me close this. So let's talk about this. You can get Cannibalize 3 at level 54, which is maybe it's about the level you would be able to actually do the Cannibalize 2 quest, or maybe level 50 or something like that in a group. So that's one mistake I think they made. They should have made it a little bit easier to get. Anyway, you can see what the difference is with this here. It decreases hit points by 74 and gives 26 mana back. And this one it's a little bit less than that, but you can see this is pretty powerful for its level. So let's talk about some of the spells. I would say that, with the shaman, you just get these things like Scale of Wolf and the Disease Resist. They're okay. They're not too expensive. It's for your whole group. Some of these are good in raids, but in group play, you're never going to need any of this. If you're a group level shaman, of course, get the heals. Don't even bother with the resist stuff. It doesn't make a difference. But there is one spell that really defines the shaman big time. And it's this spell right here, Turgur's Insects. Turgur's Insects is ridiculously powerful. At level 51, they gave it to shamans. And believe me, this thing, it's just insane. It is a disease. It's a disease check on the thing. So it lands like really good on a lot of things. It's not like the Enchanter Slow where it's resisted left and right. For some reason, when I use Turgors, it just lands all over the place. The slow percentage goes up to about 75%, I think, at least 75%, which is just crazy. It doesn't go up this high. I know it doesn't. This is just the way they calculate things here. But it is the best slow in the game, bar none. There's no question about it. Your enchanter slows are good, but this thing is just clearly better. Okay, you can see how long it lasts, 5.1 minutes. It can last up to close to 6 minutes, which is plenty of time for the fight. Is just awesome. And to give you an idea of how much this mitigates, how much melee damage this mitigates, it mitigates 75%. So if a mob is say percentage hits you for 1,000, and you can slow them with this, that means they're only going to hit you for 250. That's ridiculous. That means you need that much less healing on your guys. Seriously. So, when you look at the game and you see why do they ask shamans to join the group and why is there so many invitations to shamans and why nobody cares about druids anymore, is because of this. It's as simple as this. You get a shaman in your group, a lot of times they can just even use the heal over time once they get Turgors on them. And if you had a druid in the group and the druid's got no slow, there's nothing they can really do, and they'll dump all their mana right away. So Turgur's Insect is the reason. And I remember playing my character even at higher levels, much higher levels, and still using this until you get the AA version of this. So that's how awesome the spell is. So Turgur's Insects, look forward to Turgur's, and definitely get this thing here. Let me see here. This is NPC drop by here. Let me just go back to here. Okay, so that's good. That's the most important thing. You've also got spells like Regrowth. See, look at this. It gives you 16 per tick, a maximum of 38 per tick. And when you look at Cannibalization, you can see you pop that on here, and you don't really lose a whole lot of hit points at all. So you would do Regrowth, and you would do that too. Okay, other things that are good is this is a disease resist. I mean, just go ahead and get these kind of things. Don't worry about it. Like shamans, you're going to have so many buffs and all that, but it's good to have these because you're going to get invited to raids and you're going to be working overtime, hitting cannibalize right and left and trying to get that mana back up. Other spells that cripple are situational. Um, in a raid, you may not even be doing this. They may give it to the enchanter to do. It doesn't really make a difference, in my opinion. Even on group mobs, doesn't seem to work at all. At low levels, I mean, like level 5 mobs, you can really notice the difference. So later on, you don't notice it. Here's Cannibalize 3. I recommend you keep the Cannibalize line up. Some of these other spells, like Ice Strike, I really don't think they're a big deal. As a shaman, later on, when you get into these levels, you're not going to be the Nukin shaman because they're not that efficient, and you could spend your mana on other things. There's many other things you could spend it on. Like for example, you could put buffs on instead of doing this. And when I play shaman, I hardly ever do any of the nuking. I'm just going to be slowing. I'm going to be buffing, those kind of things there. I mean, people would rather have you put this riotous health on than being the nuking shaman. Seriously. Okay, so you get the annul magic. You definitely need that here. The pet is completely worthless. It's, I believe, the weakest pet out there. If you con this pet, I think he comes out as like a level 30 something, and you're 55 by then. The puppy is really, that's all he is a puppy. He's just gonna get shredded right away. Okay, so Torrent of Poison, and this is just a targeted AE. Don't use any of these AE things. They're just a quick way to draw attention, get yourself killed, unless you need to take attention off the wizard, so you get an evac. Now you have all these other things down here, the Bane and all that. So this is a poison dot, and I always like the shaman. They've got poison dots. Just get it. They're much more efficient than the direct damage type of things. You may need this someday if you're souling or doing other things. Malocini, definitely get any of the Mallow line right here. You definitely need to debuff stuff. Get this and just keep going down here. Here's one that's interesting. It's Tiger's Insect. And this here, look at, it's got a decrease hate by 200. That's pretty good. You'll notice if you go back to, let's go up here to, darn it, where is it, for Turgors? This one doesn't have a decrease hate on it, which is kind of cool. So this Tiger's Insect's actually quite good. And the fact is that targeted AE is nice because you can go ahead and AE slow a lot of things. So the way I would do this, if you're playing a shaman and say you got an enchanter in the group for crowd control, and a train comes in and you go ahead and have the enchanter AE mez the group, then what you can do is you can pop this right on it. In fact, you probably don't even need to tosh this stuff because obviously it's a disease counter. You just throw this right on top of them. The enchanter can go ahead and tosh it and lower the magic resist, but you can pop this on it and look at, you're going to reduce the hate by 200. I don't think that's everything, but it's definitely going to help. They're not going to come and rip your face off right afterwards. So definitely do that and get this one. This is really key here. You've got all these other things. Get these. Sometimes people want these. The charisma buff, useless in my opinion. Well, maybe not that useless if you're doing a quest, but a shaman is not going to need to charm anything, so you don't need charisma. So all I can think of is for that. Now we get to some interesting spells over here. This Topor is very, I've seen it used a couple times. It actually turns out pretty good. Like you can put this on the tank here. It pretty much roots them. It decreases the attack speed by 30%, but tanks basically are going to be taunting. That's how they get their aggro. And it does 300 per tick, which is pretty good. I've seen this, and I was like, wow, it actually saved the tank quite a bit. And of course, you're going to get your Malo. And then this avatar here is something, this is a really good spell. I mean, check it out. Level 60 is a fantastic level if you're a shaman. There's really something that you really want to strive for as a shaman. Get level 60. And let's talk about avatar, what it does right here. So look at these are huge increases in attack, especially attack is very nice to get. So this is dropped by the Overking, of course, Gornair, forget it. That's a raid drop, raid drop. But if you look at these kind of mobs down here, I'm going to tell you one that I find that's pretty easy to get and kill, and that's Tolapumge right here. And he has got a Sebelite protector near him, but a lot of times in the open world version of Old Sibyllus, you'll have a guild come in and then they'll kill Trachanon. And after they kill Trachanon, and of course they kill Tolapumge and Sebelite Protector, but you know, if you figure out when they kill him, a lot of times you can come down there and it takes a long time for Trachanon to respawn. I don't know how long, but generally you're going to get Tolapum spawning a couple times before the next Trachanon comes out. So people can come down here and they can kill Tolapumge and a Sebelite Protector. They'll have other ads, but you can come down there and do it. We've done it with one group. So you can get a monk and you can split these guys up if you're careful, and you can kill him off, and then he can drop. It's possible he can drop your avatar, which is going to be great. So, like I said, guys, there's a lot to look forward in the shaman. Most of the spells are really good, or definitely must-haves. It's not really like the enchanter, where there's the spells that are just like a waste that you don't even waste your time buying. But I mean, I can think of some like Imbue Jade. Okay, you don't need that. I mean, some of these you may not, yeah, it's optional. You may not need disease resist or anything like that. But since you're a shaman and you're going to be on doing a lot of raids and all that, just get all these things. And except for Ice Strike and stuff, probably don't even need Ice Strike or stuff like that. But get those, and good luck, guys. Hope you have fun on the Teak server. See you there.